Okay, so we're going to be doing our social studies today, okay? And I want to ask you guys a question first. Does anybody have a favorite blanket? Maybe you have a favorite blanket or something that you love that's just really, really cozy. Does anyone know what a quilt is?
Yes.
A quilt? What's a quilt?
It's made up of a whole bunch of different kinds of fabrics put together into one blanket.
Right, right. Okay, so we're going to be reading a story about a quilt today from a book called The Patchwork Quilt. Hey, Patchwork Quilt by Valerie Florney. I hope I got her name right. Okay, so this book we're going to look at the way that she and her grandma and her mother get to make this quilt. And they learn a lot about each other when making this quilt. So let's go ahead and start reading. The Patchwork Quilt. In the right-hand corner of the last row of patches was delicately stitched "For Tanya from your mama and grandma."
Aww.
Did she die?
Do you think that she might have died?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the patchwork quilt was a way to remember her, and so they look at the patchwork quilt and they remember their grandma. So it's a way to, the patchwork quilt for the characters in this book, they were able to remember events in their lives and things that happened with them. So what we're going to do is we're going to remember things in our lives, and we're kind of going to make our own little patchwork quilt on paper. Okay, so it's kind of going to be like a timeline. We're going to remember events in our lives, and we're going to draw pictures and we're going to write sentences. And so we'll be making our own little patchwork quilt today. Okay, so actually let's pass this out right now. And go ahead and write your name on it. Since it's your quilt, if you would like to use colors, you may, because you will be decorating it later. All right, now we're going to be putting some events into our patchwork quilt, but don't start yet, because we're just going to brainstorm about what kinds of things that we can put in our timeline on our quilt. Okay, so let's just write some brainstorming ideas. I'll put our lives. Oh, not yet. Our lives. Okay, what are some things that are really, really important in our lives? What's probably the first thing that happens in our life?
We're born.
We're born. So that would be like our first birthday. Okay, so born.
Our 0 birthday.
Our 0 birthday. Born. Okay. Now, what are some other things that happen in our lives? I'll give us one clue. Let's see, after we're born, we might take our first steps. Okay, so steps, first steps. First steps. Okay, what are some other firsts that might happen when we're young?
Words.
Really young. First word. Word. What else? Teeth. Lost tooth. Let's see. Any other firsts when we're really, really little? I'm trying to think too. Okay,
First
what?
day of school.
Huh?
First day of school.
First day of school. Yeah, that was a long time ago for you guys, right?
It has been quite a while.
Cool. All right, now what are some things that maybe we've learned over our lives? I'm going to put learned or learn. Okay, what are some other things that we've learned? I'll give us the first, like we learned how to ride a bike. Okay, that might be something important that we want to write. So bike. What are some other things that might be important for us to learn?
Reading.
Read. Learned how to read. Okay. right. What about some activities, some fun activities that we love to do? Right. What about swimming? When we learned how to swim. What about some other things that we might have learned this far?
How to write?
We have how to write right here.
Oh, okay.
How about maybe places that we've been? Maybe on vacation or something? So I'll write places. Okay, what are some places that we've been? Maybe, let's see, maybe the first time that I went to Disneyland. Disneyland, one of my favorite places. Land.
The zoo.
The zoo. Has anyone ever been to a different state or a different country? Has anyone been to Hawaii? Maybe we can write a vacation. I'll just write vacations, and then you can think of vacation places that you've been to. Vacation. All right, can anybody think of anything else that we can add to our brainstorming idea, or do you think that we're good up here? Let me see if I wrote some down. See. Oh, I think of one. Okay, a special event. I'll write it up here. All right. Does anyone have any brothers or sisters? Any younger brothers or sisters? You have younger brothers or sisters? What about when your baby brother or your baby sister was born? So let's put that.
Suppose that could be special.
It could be special. It's something that's connected to you. Baby, brother, or sister. I'm going to put bro or sis. I hope you know what that means. Bro or sis. And let's see. I think I've got everything that I wanted on there. Yeah, I think that we have a pretty good list. Can anybody think of anything else? We're good? All right, I think this is a pretty good list that we have up here so far. So let's go ahead and look at your quilt. Okay, I'm gonna draw just a little picture of what your quilt looks like. It's gonna be a little squiggly. Okay, is that what kind of looks like on your paper? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna go over the order of these boxes. So you want to, how do we read? Which way do we read when we're looking at a book?
Left to right.
Left to right, right, left to right. So we're gonna start with this left box. So this is gonna be our number one box. So in the bottom corner, very, very tiny as you can make it, write a 1 so that you can remember that this is gonna be our first box. This is how we're gonna start. Okay, and since we read left to right, what do you think our next box is gonna be? 2. Here?
Yes.
Number 2 right here. Okay, so that's right, 2. And very, very tiny in the bottom corner because you want enough room to write your sentences and make your picture. Okay, so 1, 2. So we read left to right. So we're gonna look at our timeline kind of as left to right. And we also go top to bottom. So the next one, the number 3, is going to be this box right here. So very tiny in the bottom corner, right at 3. Okay, and where's our number 4 going to be?
On the right.
On this one. So number 4 in the bottom corner there. Okay, what about number 5?
Back to the left.
Right here, that's right. So number 5. And I bet you can all guess number 6. Okay, number 6. in the bottom corner, very, very tiny so that you have enough room. So this is how we're gonna do our quilt so that it's in order. So our first event, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth event, okay? So what do you think our number one event is gonna be? Everybody's is gonna be the same. Our number one event was the first thing that happened. I was born, okay? So your number one box is gonna be that you were born. Da, 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 da. So I'm gonna write a number one, just so that you remember. Number one, you were born, okay? So, number 6, we're number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are gonna be kind of your own things, because not everybody had the same events, okay? So those are gonna be your own thing. But number 6, the last box, is gonna be something exciting that happened to you this week. Something fun that happened this week, okay? So, go ahead and put your utensils, your coloring utensils and writing utensils down and start packing up. We'll be taking these home, okay, so that you can run them by your parents. And then we'll be doing it again tomorrow and we'll finish them up. And then we'll take our quilts and we'll put them up on the bulletin board and make one giant quilt of all of our classes, stuff. So while we made our quilt, just like the book in the patchwork quilt, while we made our quilt, it reminds us of important events and kind of acts as a timeline for us. So we'll remember, as a timeline to go through and look at the events in our lives. Yay!